So hello everyone, I'm Vi, I'm e-commerce marketing expert at Omnisend, and today I'm very excited to have you here for a session where we're gonna talk about A/B testing, because right now is your final window to actually get the testing done and get yourself ready for Black Friday. Because there's a million things to do in November, and you don't want to be testing and second guessing your email campaigns and anything else. So to help us with that, today I have Matthias, who is our resident webinar host at this point, and I'm very excited for you to meet him and to get this account expert experience. So use this opportunity to ask him all questions about A/B testing. We will have Q&A session at the end, but also as we go throughout. Matthias, would you like to say hello?
Hello, everyone. Special hello to Mimi, Ezekiel, Rick, Courtney, everyone who is, all today writing to the chat. I encourage you all to write a little bit, to write a question, to ask us anything. As by mentioned, already, you probably, if you have joined previous webinars by Omnisend, you probably have seen me before a couple of times. And this is our second round on the A/B testing, which I think is going to be very useful for you. And yes, excited to go for it, and hopefully that you will put us some very good questions here, that you get a lot of value, and especially that we managed to inspire you. But thank you, bye.
Absolutely. A couple of things to know before we begin. This session is being recorded, and you will receive the recording in a couple of days in your inboxes. We will also include the slides and any of the resources that we're going to share throughout. And then at the end, we're going to have a Q&A session. So if at any point you have any questions for Matthias, any questions, take this opportunity. There's a Q&A tab at the bottom of your screen. So drop your questions in there so they don't get lost. And then we also have customer support in the chat who are real people. So be patient. They'll be happy to answer any general Omnisend questions you might have. So again, take this opportunity to ask Matthias any questions you might have. And yes, don't forget to ask questions. Matthias, the stage is yours.
So yes, let's start with what's the agenda for today? What are we going to discuss? First of all, is just as repeating, what Bio was saying before. Why is this the last time for you to start testing? If you haven't started testing, to continue testing. And because, yes, we are going to be a little bit busier during Black Friday doing the actual sending. Yeah, so we need to have some data. We need to have some data-driven decisions. And right now is the best moment to actually start and end implementing those A/B testing. We're still going to talk a bit about what you will A/B test during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, because you can always test. There's never a bad time to stop testing. There's also advantages for testing in the high season. You have more input, more people purchasing, more leads. But yes, we're going to focus right now on why is also the last season and the last chance for you to start this testing. Then also just to talk to you about some of the tools. Maybe some of them are new, some of them are fresh in Omnisend, that could help you with the A/B testing, at least saving you some time or providing you some extra inspiration, because we know that when your work is email marketing, there's many things, probably little things that you haven't thought of already. And the only thing you need is some extra inspiration, some extra words that may come handy. And that's what we're here to do. And then we're going to close with 12 ideas that you can start implementing from now, from today, from tomorrow, and just hopefully for a long term after this, that you keep it as a good practice for you and remember them for all the time that you're doing marketing, regardless of what the purpose and the time is. Because as I said before, A/B testing can be done always and will always be useful for you. Now, we're moving ahead a bit, is just what will we learn here is how to run them a little bit faster right now that the season is ending. We don't have so much time, so we have to be a little bit more agile. We still have the flexibility. The season is not so close yet, so we still have the flexibility to deal with multiple A/B tests, to do a couple iterations even, but also how to focus on the speed and what is actually relevant, which are the variables that you need to focus on. This repeats on season to season. If you have joined the previous A/B testing webinar, you may see some repeating things, but Once again, I think even I have forgotten things from there, so it's good to refresh your mind, to bring that inspiration now that is still a little bit more relevant than it was before, and how to prioritize the A/B testing now that the time is short. Yes, and let's continue. And the season starts now. That's how we named this slide. And we assume that some people, maybe the people that have joined from previous A/B testing webinar, has already had the time to test a bit, to see some iterations work, to make some decisions based on that. But we can still validate, we can still test something else. As I have mentioned before, and I would like to repeat it here, and I think it's something we really have to pay attention, is the A/B testing can be done in a long period of time because we want to focus on a single thing. So we can A/B test today the subject line, tomorrow the pre-header, and after that the content, and after that the timing. So there's so many things that we can run, so many iterations that can go over a single email that we can always keep on A/B testing. It could be just, A/B testing forever. And that's going to bring you the best results. The more data, the better. And every test now is fueled by real behavior, as I said before. Now the season is getting a little bit higher, more intense, more people are coming into your store, and that's going to increase with the days and months coming forward. So basically, it's not a bad time to keep testing, and we encourage you to start now and to push until Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and Christmas. All the high season events are coming here. Then, just as I said before, why this is your last flexible season. And also to understand, since we're getting closer, that we can start also playing a little bit with urgency. We can start playing with that tone of, FOMO, and try to put the customers in that energy already, that the season is coming and the things are already being prepared for them and you're working on them. Then just save this picture for you. As I put it before, and I'm going to keep putting it, I think is very illustrative of what we want to achieve here, how we distribute the testing through time. And still, you see the September, October is still not in the red zone here. We're still with time, and we are definitely have a lot of things to test still. And let's start with this. So the early signals from real holiday shoppers. So as I said before, this is only for data purposes, and that's mostly what A/B testing will always be for. We want to see what our customers react for, what customers are actually engaging with, and in general, what is valuable for them and what we should stop doing, because we want to create some identity from a brand, and in general, on the long run, to keep that identity growing and performing in every single channel, every single communication, every single workflow that we have. And holiday season, again, is more pressure, yes, but it's also more results, because more people with more relevance and more potential to purchase, better conversion rate is going to happen during this time. So the best data that you can get is actually the closer you get to the holidays too. And you're still early enough. Don't worry, don't rush. But keep in mind that you can start rushing your customers. Yes, you don't have to rush yourself, but you can start rushing them a bit, putting that idea in their mind that something big is coming, and we're going to start A/B testing with that. Now, I have divided a little bit the presentation into several topics. We're going to talk about campaigns, automations, and forms. And in general, when we talk about A/B testing, the first thing that usually comes to the mind of the viewer, the mind of you, marketers, is the subject lines. That's the first thing that we're probably trying to change in many cases when we see that the open rate is not working, that people is not engaging with us. So this must already be engraved in your head. You may have 100 ideas, but it's just to refresh what are the things that you can actually be testing here. We can go with a classic old emoji against no emoji. Keep in mind what's the context of your brand, what's your style of communication, what is in general, what is the tone that you want to keep moving forward. Because if you want to start with emojis, I would say you will have to stick with it. You have to own it. And of course, you'll have to make it part of your communications forever. And it has to resonate with also your content, the vocabulary that you use, and in general, your audience. Then teasers versus deal-specific messaging. Don't worry if you don't see more information. We're going to go in depth a little bit forward. First name plus urgency versus a generic tone, not personalized emails. Pre-header variations, and discount versus free shipping and extra offers that you can give during this holiday season. Don't take these as or kind of situation. It's not this or that. Basically, there's always going to be a best scenario, and there's always going to be the regular scenario that we're going to take, because it's the tools that we provide by default with Omnisend, but then it's up to you to make it as yours as possible. Yes, and that's what we're trying to achieve through these webinars. Layout and structure, as I said before, urgent holiday tone versus evergreen call to action. It could be a product heavy versus lifestyle content. It could be plain text versus a visually rich design of a campaign. It could be an urgent holiday tone versus an evergreen CTA, as I said before. Top heavy images versus center visuals. We're going to go in depth through all of them a little bit later. Viewing browser, added versus hidden, a little bit more advanced and only required in some cases, but still worth mentioning. We can also test with timing, morning versus evening. You probably already think of this, weekdays versus weekends, boosters, segments, email frequency, how often do you want to send, to whom do you want to send, because we're also going to speak about segmentation a bit. And now I think what you were waiting for, sorry for the long introduction, but I just wanted to put you in the context of what we're going to speak about today. But we get into the details finally. So when it comes to the subject lines and content, speaking specifically what I said about emojis is what is working right now, what is relevant. We just don't want to send emojis just because, unless it's something that we have getting our audience accustomed to. But basically, to make it relevant, to make it resonate with either the tone and urgency of the message or with the seasonality of the message, to make it also probably pop out from previous messages that they have received from you, to make it a little bit more exclusive in a way, and not just because I want to include an emoji. I think that's an important thing to mention. Yes, that won't really make much of a difference, but if it is relevant, if it has something to do with the season, if it has something to do with the tone or the urgency, you're gonna see some more engagement. You're gonna see some different audiences reacting in a different way. And if it doesn't work for you, you're also gonna notice that, and that's the A/B testing purpose. If that's not the tone that your audience is expecting from you, then that's what the A/B testing will reveal to you. So just keep that in mind. Then short and mysterious versus detailed and benefit driven. This one I think is probably one of the most important to test when it comes to subject lines or pre-headers, is how is your audience usually reacting to your communications? Do they want the mystery? Are you able to interest them enough for you to hide something from them and then just trigger that curiosity to a level that they will just open just to see what is it? Or do you have to be straightforward, telling them what is the special deal that you have there, so that they actually would make use of it? Yes, this I think speaks a lot about how the audience perceives your brand, what they are expecting from you. And this one is one that you really can play with a bit. It's very flexible. You can really tease your audience as much as possible, especially if you're sending more than one email, let's say in a workflow or so on. So to see what is actually resonating with them, and if it is the mystery or if it is actually the offer. We have different, and I think also speaking about segmentation later will help you understand which one can be sent to whom. Then first name personalization versus none. This one I would say is a best practice kind of hint. We would always recommend to personalize your messages as much as possible. So this is just probably to bring to your attention that maybe you haven't personalized yet the messages. So maybe you want to A/B test to show to yourself that you can be making a little bit better newsletters, better headers and subject lines with that personalization in. So something that is always good to refresh and to bring to your mind, because it might be when we're sending too many emails that we forget that this is something that can actually make the difference, that can actually bring our audience closer to us and make us feel a little bit more closer to them too. Then pre-header variations. This one I think is just similar to the one I was speaking a little bit earlier. You can do several things with them. The subject line will remain the same, but in the pre-header, which is where people would usually look for that mystery that you have hinted or teased before, is going to be explained. Yeah. So how are you going to relate it to that mystery, or how are you going to make it as explicit as possible to what you're actually offering inside? This is another placement position, I would say, for A/B testing that is really important. As I said before, always keep in mind not to test the two things at the same time. It might be that you think, okay, I'm gonna test one email with a different subject line and pre-header, and the other one also. Don't do that. Try to keep one single thing per iteration so that you actually know what makes a difference. Because when it comes to A/B testing, combining different things and changing multiple things will not give you clear data, and you will not be able to act upon it. Then discount versus free shipping. This one, I think, also depends on what is your possibilities as a brand. What is it that is working? What's your region? How broad is your market? But basically something that you can really test, especially when it will come later, again, also in forms, in automations. What is it that is more relevant for your audience? Maybe, shipping for them is more important. It could be, or maybe they want that gift. Maybe they want that discount. Maybe maybe you're trying to push them for a first purchase. Maybe you're trying to push them for a larger purchase. So yes, always look into these details. I think is very important. And then it comes, what is Omnisend providing you here? We have made some advances with our AI-assisted subject line and pre-header generators. And I would recommend you, whenever you come with some idea, or whenever you are out of ideas, I think that's also the scenario where you can come here, is to use this to try to be a little bit different all the time, not to repeat yourself every single time you have a different idea. Try to iterate on it, try to build upon it, to ask AI to, even if it is not inside Omnisend, if you ask AI in general to bring you, I guess you're all doing this already, but to bring you more ideas and not to stick into repeating the same, unless of course it's working and it's perfect, don't fix it if it's not broken, but it's always good to have the use. And now that it's so comfortable, as soon as you're opening your email preparation, you have there the extra ideas that you can get, some refreshing, and that will always be useful for you. And here is one that I think is even more interesting, because it gives you a broader explanation of why to pick certain subject line. Also, it will give you some statistics of how successful can it be. I would recommend you to go into our subject line tester. I think my colleagues are sharing with you the links in the chat. But either ways, you can find them just by Googling them too. And here, it will be just interesting to play with it a bit. I don't want to spoil it to you too much. I think it's better. It's the kind of tool that is better not knowing so much about until you test it and be like, oh, it can do this for me, and then get that inspiration from it, and probably make it a habit. Come back to it every time that you are out of ideas or feeling a little bit bored of your subject line and you just want to try something different. Now we're gonna move into the layout and structure, as I spoke before. And here is, I think, what is a little bit more relevant for you. How is your brand gonna represent you, and how do you wanna keep that consistency? Are we gonna be product heavy or lifestyle content? I would always recommend on the long term, at least with your long staying customers, the people that is purchasing from you multiple times, to start with this lifestyle content, to get them some extra value, rather than I'm gonna sell you this and I'm gonna give you extra and we have this and this is new. It will work definitely, but that's the purpose of A/B testing. Yes, maybe for them they want to get some value on the products that they already have bought. Maybe they want to know how does that speak about your brand. What is this history of your brand? What is it that you are planning to provide extra value besides the product? What is your vision, your mission, and so on? So it will be good to test it every once in a while, especially with those customers that are already loyal, are opening a lot of your emails, and you can get them to be closer to you. And maybe someday you will need them. Someday they will be the special audience that you will need them to help you during some time. So it's good to create that loyalty to make your brand stronger. But you can also always be product heavy in case you really want to get those products out. And we have the tools inside of Omnisend, product recommendations, personalized product recommendations. We have even you can just set products yourself with a product listing. So these are the two choices that you can test, and I recommend you to test it. I recommend you to take that approach. It's always going to be helpful. We go then to plain text versus visually rich. You may wonder in many cases, how is plain text going to help me? I can tell you from experience, it does work. Just imagine from the customer's perspective, how many emails they may be receiving. From your perspective, even, how many emails are you receiving a day from how many brands with so many visual information, so many graphics? Maybe it is refreshing every once in a while to get that plain text, straight to the point, value email that just tells you what you need to know and nothing else, and then directs you to somewhere else where you can do all the extra stuff. Yeah, so just test it every once in a while, put it out there, see which audience is replying better to it. Maybe the ones that are opening a little bit less those generic emails want to receive something like this. So test it, see if it works, find the tone that represents your brand. I think is also a good exercise for you to understand how your brand is represented through text in case you have become very visual, and how you speak about your brand, how do you refer about your brand, how you talk about your product. So it's also a good experiment for you to understand your brand through words. I think is very important. Then layout and structure. This relates to all the things we have spoken before, because we have this, you see the first example, it may not be clear at first sight. I understand that, but I'll just explain you the pictures here. But you see in the first example, we have the shop now option, which is clearly shop now. Yes, there's nothing mysterious about it. But in the other one, you're trying to, put the customer in the situation of what's the value provided by the product they're going to purchase. Yeah, so the product you're going to get is going to give you this, make your marketing pop, or make your day better, or make your feed the highlight of the day, or just something like this that will bring the customer to even just click out of curiosity, or even out of mistake, still will help you to see what's different, instead of, okay, shop now, I'm just gonna go and see this product in a different tab, and probably that's not what everybody wants. If you test this, I think you're gonna see some interesting results. You're gonna improve your click rate, and it will be a good idea to start playing with that. Get creative if you have time, if you are focused on your marketing, to make a whole project out of it, to create your own language, to make it something that people will associate only to your brand and to you. Then we continue with top-heavy images versus center visuals. This is more about the program and the organization of the email itself, how graphically it looks. Maybe some people are okay by looking at the big picture on top. Maybe if you have an amazing header, a hero picture, and you just want to put it out there, and it's gonna bring the results, go for it. But maybe some other people want to see the text first, and you are not letting them by putting that first image up there. You just imagine your experience as a user. You open the email, the first thing you see is the image, and maybe some people want to see the text first. So just test it out. Maybe in some cases one will work better than the other, but it's something that we may just not think too much about when we're doing email marketing, and it's something I just want to bring to your attention and hopefully inspire you to test. Then the view in browser, added versus hidden. This one is just in case you have ever experienced problems with your emails not displaying for some reason inside of the inbox. Yes, but you can always show the view email in browser. It will show more details. It will give, if it is really valuable, if it is a value email with a lot of text, with a lot of information, with something probably that is very relevant for your audience, just to give them the option to see it somewhere where they will be more comfortable. Yes. Let's continue with timing. Here is more about analyzing data that you already have. You can see in the reports of your campaigns, of your automations, when are people actually opening your emails. In most of the cases, it's going to be the first moment when you send it, during the spam of that hour. People are going to be opening because it's up there and it just popped. But then you can see some other peaks within the day, and that will bring you some inspiration, as in, okay, so people probably at 11 p.m. are again opening the email. That's the second time of the day where they're actually, peaking once again. So maybe next campaign is going to go at that time. And then it's not really a A/B test that you're launching at once, But of course, it's an analytical process of the first campaign I send it at 1, and the next one I'm going to try to send it at 11, and so on, and see actually how it performs. And maybe your audience is preferring always to get at 11, and you just made a decision that probably is bringing you a couple more sales that you were getting before. The same goes with weekdays, weekend. It depends on what is the cadence that you have set yourself to send already and how often you're sending. Then resend to non-openers versus not. This one is just to highlight the booster functionality within Omnisend. If you have a campaign that is really performed very well and you're thinking like, I think somebody else can purchase from this, I don't want to let it go to waste. Just test to send a booster for that campaign. The metrics are good. Even if the metrics won't look so good in the booster, you maybe get some sales that may have not been there if you didn't do that effort. So it's again probably the consistency of coming back after your campaign has been sent, coming back to Omnisend, check how it went after one day, after some hours, or even set it already within the same campaign at the beginning, send it to have a booster. It depends how you want to configure it. You can do it manually or automatically. And basically, don't forget that this is something that you can do. Yes, this is just me bringing this to your attention so that you can be aware of it. Now, frequency, this one, I think is something that in the long term you would want to experiment. Is a question that many people will always have. How many times am I going to send the campaign during the week? I cannot tell you how many times you should send. I can just tell you how many times you shouldn't send. I would recommend you not to go further than 3 times. But again, if your audience is reacting and opening every single campaign, you're sending them 1 campaign a day, I cannot tell you not to do it. Yes. So that's the thing. If you have been so far sending 1 single campaign a week and you see that the metrics are amazing, that you're getting a 60% open rate and very good click rate, maybe you can divide it into 2 times a week. Maybe the metrics will be a little bit lower, but you'll be reaching a little bit more often and probably generating more sales with that. So it's just to bring awareness as to your frequency and cadence, and to help you understand that's not the only way it has to be. Yes, you can A/B test with that too in the long term. And let's continue. But you had something to say?
Yes, I'll just jump in before we go too far away from that. There is a question: if would you use Booster like all the time? Is it something that, if I'm running a campaign, should I always use Booster?
I'm gonna tell you this from my experience. Yes, I have some brands that are sending a booster every single time they send a campaign, and there is nothing wrong with them. I have brands that are sending a booster only when the campaign is performing extremely well. So this is to your assessment, and that's why it's called A/B testing. I cannot tell you, unless, of course, I take a look at your metrics and take a look at your account and completely see how things are performing. But what I recommend you is see those campaigns that are performing well. See also your metrics. Am I a good sender? Am I having very good metrics and engagement with my campaigns? Is my campaign generating, let's say, 11, 20 sales, and I think that it can do more? Then why not? I'm gonna send a booster. But if my campaign didn't perform well and I'm just gonna send a booster to see if actually it improves, then you're not maybe taking the best approach. So it is to your assessment. I can tell you that brands are doing it, so I can tell you that it's not a rare thing, but it's very much to how you identify your performance. I can give you here just a very quick test that you can give yourself. If your campaigns are over 40%, 50%, you can feel a little bit, open rate, you can feel a bit more confident to do a booster with them all the time. But they are in the low 20s. If they are under that, I wouldn't really recommend you, because you may just end up hurting your reputation, and it won't really help with the performance. Yes. So test it, and that's my answer here. A/B test it, do some tests, check how it works for you, go deep into your metrics and see how relevant it is for you to send. Hope that answered your question.
Awesome. And I think people are just very interested in the booster. Thank you, Ira, for posting all the links and the answers in the chat. But just so we are all on the same page, in a sentence or two, could you explain what the booster is? And also, Lars is asking, do you prefer not open message or not clicked message in the set?
Okay, perfect. So first, I'm gonna explain just quickly what a booster is. Basically, this one is either you set it up automatically when you send the campaign, or you can do it manually then yourself. I'm gonna explain how it is manually first, so it will explain already what a booster is. Once you send the campaign, you get the percentage out of 100%, only 50% have opened it. So if the campaign is really relevant and you think it can make more sales, we're gonna send to that extra 50% once again. Yes, and they're gonna receive the email once more. You're gonna probably not see any more 50%. You're gonna probably see 9-10% open rate, but maybe you get some extra 5-4 sales from there that you were not gonna get otherwise. So the booster, it is as it is, just a boost to the campaign, sending to every person that didn't actually interact with the first email. And that goes to the second question: would I prefer click or open? In this case, I would really assess what is your click-through rate. Yes, if you have usually a very, very high click rate, once again, I'm going to give here a number that you can use as a reference. If you are over 3-4% click rate, I would probably go with the click rate, yes. But if you are having very low clicks, maybe just go with the open one. I think it will bring you better results. And it's always, there's never a definitive answer for this. Yes, every brand is going to have, and I tell you this from experience mostly, every brand is going to have a different behavior for a different kind of opportunity that they are taking. So I hope that answers your question once again. It's just a matter of reading the data that you have. And of course, once you have done it a couple times and you said, okay, I did 3-4 boosters, I'm pretty sure you're going to find even a more, a broader answer to the question that you're asking right now. Just after you have tested it, I'm pretty sure you're going to resolve those doubts very, very quickly.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We will also include the link to the explaining article in the recap email. It's also in the chat as well. And Sarah, we see your question. I will keep it till the end because I think it's super relevant for the whole topic. But for now, looking at the time, Matthias, please continue.
Let's continue. So let's move into automations. I think here is where people, at least the people I manage with, they are not very aware that they can do A/B testing. And this is the best place, in my opinion, to make A/B testing because it's static, it's staying there. You can come back and just analyze it. And there's many things that you can actually do inside of here. You can change the workflow structure. You can go with one-off email versus multi-step series. Maybe you can go right now into your automations and check that all of them are just one single email. Maybe you could be doing better. Maybe that first email has a 70% open rate. Why not send a second one and a third one and maybe even a fourth one? Or maybe, splitting it with an SMS, a push notification in general. Check all the channels, SMS versus push versus email. Conditional splits, one thing that is relevant to many other things, but A/B testing could also be one of them. And the delays, yes. Let's go with messaging too, the welcome flow, discount versus brand story, product versus urgency, discount versus emotional appeal, and the content and tone, which will be playful versus professional, short copy, storytelling, and the CTA positioning. It's very similar to the slides from campaigns, just translated to a workflow itself. And let's look at some examples here. So one-off email versus a multi-step series. This is an A/B testing, is already a native feature inside of all automations. You just put it there as you put an email, and then you can split it into two paths where you can start A/B testing probably anything, yes. In this case, what I'm showing is in the right side, you will have only one email. And on the left side, you'll have a range of emails. Of course, review always your exit conditions, review how the trigger is set in order to make those second and third message relevant, not to repeat the same thing. If the customer already opened the first one, maybe you don't need to send the second and third. It's sort of use the booster mentality in some cases here. Maybe I don't need to resend to the person that already sent it, but maybe if I offer a discount, maybe I want to remind it of them. Yeah, so just come back, check your automation, see if you're sending one single email. And here is my recommendation, personal recommendation. Don't leave things at one single email. Just try to go with a little bit more. And if you don't feel confident about it, test it. Yes. Let's go with email versus SMS versus push. This one is you can use conditional splits. You can do it just if they haven't opened my emails, I send them an SMS if you want to be more conservative with your credits or so on. But I recommend to always start including different channels inside of your automations. Yes, if it's either a push or an SMS or SMS here, I would recommend you to start testing them if you're not feeling confident. This is more of me encouraging you to do things rather than just telling you these are how things are done. But many brands are doing it already. It brings you much more ways to reach those customers that are not reacting to emails. So put them in, make use of those other channels that are included mostly in your plan. So make use of them, test them, see the difference, and see how it impacts your revenue. Then the structure conditional splits, here is where I think you can be more strategic and you can really think of what is going to be relevant. I don't want to, just do things because I want to do them. I want to make decisions with a lot of thought behind them. So you can either, think of what are going to be the trigger filters here in case of a cart abandonment or a browse abandonment. Am I going to check what's the total of their cart? Am I going to change what items are they having in their cart? Am I going to A/B test maybe if they were purchasing shirts? Am I going to A/B test either proposing them to purchase pants, or am I going to propose them shirts again? So think this way. Think about what is the customer actually viewing, what data am I getting with that event in Omnisend, and what can I do with it? Then you can also go with the contact properties, maybe A/B test if the contact, if you have their gender, if you have their nationality, maybe A/B test different approaches with them, a different language, even a different discount in case they are local. You can offer them free shipping against the discount. So all of this is available inside the automation. It's just come out to your creativity and capabilities of offering mostly what you can put here. And of course, the last one that I think is also important regarding the people that were interested in the booster, if they have opened my message, am I going to send them? If they had clicked, am I going to send them the next one, or am I going to exit them from the automation and not annoy them anymore? Here's another example, how it looks, for instance, when they have opened the message. If they have opened, I'm going to send them an extra email. If they haven't opened it, maybe then I recur to my SMS as a last source in this case. Yeah, so just remember that these are many things that you can do inside automations that are testing in the end, but can also bring inspiration to do a million other things that are not related to A/B testing. Then delays, I think this is very important. You are gonna always be curious when you use a template, let's say from Omnisend, and be like, oh, I'm not sure if 1 hour is enough, or maybe 1 hour is too much when I'm gonna send the first notification after somebody abandoned their cart. So test it again. Put the A/B test step before that and say like, okay, my approach is that 10 minutes for me is enough. I don't want to wait 1 hour, but Omnisend is suggesting me 1 hour. So I'm gonna keep that one there, and maybe you're gonna prove us wrong, and kudos for you on that. Is just we're gonna know that you are very good at marketing too. And hopefully we're going to notice also that on your data and make changes ourselves. But in general, every time you get these kind of presets, these ideas, test them. I think A/B testing in automations is something that could really, really, really bring you a lot of refreshed and new ideas. Now forms and pop-ups, maybe the least popular. I don't know if you have any question here or something, or we just go to forms.
We're all good for now. Again, everyone,
Perfect.
please ask questions if you have any. We'll have some time for the Q&A.
Perfect. So let's go with forms and pop-ups. Maybe this one is the one that you may consider the least for A/B testing, but I think again is a very important place because it's the first touch that you're having with your customers. So this one just came to me. I remember the first time I ever A/B tested a form with a customer was because their manager, the higher ranks, were not happy with seeing a pop-up or a teaser, and they were like, it looks too spammy, we don't like it. And I told her, just show them what it will be like if you didn't show it. Yes. And then after a very short time, they realized that the leads weren't coming in, that people were not even really looking at the embedded forms, that people didn't like that boring, non-spammy pop-up. They were not getting any value from it. And even though from the perspective of the manager themselves was not the way they wanted to go, they ended up going that way because it was what's bringing results, and in the end that's what you want. Yes. So in this case is when you're ever having some question about, oh, I don't like that the pop-up is appearing too quickly. I don't like that it's appearing too much to the left, too much to the right. It's covering certain part of my web page. There's so many configuration options within the theme settings of your pop-ups and all kind of forms that you can just select them to be anywhere, to place your teaser anywhere in your page. Display settings could be very different, as we put here: exit intent versus time on site versus scroll versus etc. It has so many options that you have here. Also, the same goes for, let's say I'm going to give them a discount, or maybe I'm going to give them a freebie. You can also select which segments within your audience see which forms. So maybe for your existing customers, you want to prepare now a new form for them, offering them to purchase again with a different discount that you're offering to all the people that is just new to your store. So just think that these are things that are coming within Omnisend, all the tools. And you can A/B test all of them live. You can see the results, you can see the report, and make decisions based on this. Content and tone, once again, referring back to what we speak about in campaigns. What is your brand identity? What is the language? What is your audience? And how are you planning to communicate with them from now on? It starts with the form. That's the first place where they're going to see you communicating with them. That's you. I mean, when I say you, I mean each of the persons that are looking at me right now in the webinar is you, who is your voice. You can make it very yours. And you can make a thing of it. So it will be, they will need you. Once you're gone, let's say, that the tone will change. And they will miss you because you have made something out of it. You have related yourself to the brand, and all your customers are also relating to you. So they will need you to be there. Then we can go with the design format. We can make it a multi-step in case you're seeing that the single step with a lot of information in it is causing too much friction and it's not getting your sign-up rate on a good position. I would say a good sign-up rate, just as a number here so that you can have a reference, would be 6%, let's say, 7%. So if you're not hitting those numbers, you're quite low, start A/B testing. Maybe you have too many steps. Maybe you have a single step that is too long. Maybe you have too many required fields. Maybe you can, let some of them go, and you'll get a better submission rate. So just test all these things. Test the teaser. Don't forget the teaser is always good to have it in forms, and you can set it up to your liking. And yes, that's pretty much it there. Now we're going to speak a little bit quickly about segments. This is more just to spark your creativity. We can now start tagging all the people that purchased during the Black Friday, Cyber Monday last year, and probably start hyping them up a bit, probably start A/B testing with them some different kind of campaigning. Then we can also identify everybody that is a gift shopper or a deal hunter. If people are interested in the product that is just coming for the season right now, that is a new thing for you, a drop that is exclusive for the season, or if they're just looking for you to drop down the prices on everything and buy something that they were interested in long ago. Yes, start identifying all these kind of customers so that you can later, once the Black Friday, Cyber Monday season comes, A/B test on them in that way. You send one campaign to one campaign to the other, and the next time you can exchange between them and see what is performing better. Early bird versus last minute, language-based variants, and so many other things in segmentation. I'm just giving you here some ideas. Then, yes, if you want to do some slightly more advanced, well, not advanced, but just more complex experimentation, you can do the view in browser. I showed you already what it is. You can start including your email, see if actually people is clicking on there. Of course, consider the quiet hour deliveries. And this is more like just a more tactical way to send. I was speaking with a customer today. They wanted to send all of their follow-up abandonment emails after a certain time in the morning. Yeah, so maybe you're thinking that way too. You don't want it to be random. You want it to be at a specific time of the day. Then frequency caps, if maybe you want to exclude all those people that are receiving too many messages from your campaigns, if they're receiving too many automations, and vice versa, and so on. Now we're going to look this is again a reminder of the tools you already have inside of Omnisend. Inside of every workflow, you'll have the trigger previews. You can see which contacts are entering the automation and why, or maybe why are they skipped. So then you can understand, okay, maybe I'm going to let them in, but I'm going to test something different on them inside of the automation. Maybe he fulfills certain criteria that actually makes it eligible for this automation, but I don't want to send them what I'm sending to everybody. So I'm going to A/B test here. Yes, and then you use split conditionals and start sending specific things to everybody. Language-based content blocks, dynamic content by cart, yes, email versus SMS, based on average order value, and so many other things. Yes, I think it's good to experiment with what segmentation is providing you now in Omnisend. Check also the segment AI builder. Ask him questions. Tell him, well, no, not questions. I mean, tell him what segments you want to see and see what it brings to you, and maybe you see pieces of the segment builder that you have never seen before, and it sparks some new creativity on you. And now to close, just some ideas here. I know, Bai, you want to say something?
Yes. Before we go into the ideas, I think it would be good for us to get into the mindset of how many of those tests should I actually do? How many, when do I know that the test is valid? Because like even Sarah was asking before, like how many times should you test something for it to give a viable answer? So yeah, before we go into these testing ideas, maybe you have a comment now, or maybe you want to say that as we go through the ideas as well.
I think I can say something now, but it's a very good question. It is a very good question, and I think once again, maybe I'm not gonna give you a very specific answer, but I hope what I tell you will help you. I would say there's no limit as to how many times you should test things, and I wouldn't want to put a limit on it because things are progressing so much so quickly. All the technology is also moving so quickly. People are receiving all kind of communication, and they are reading all kind of text all the time, and they are looking at very different kind of graphics, AI generated images, and so on. So why would you want to stop testing when things are gonna move around you all the time? And you may just stay behind. Unless, of course, you think your brand belongs to a certain style, certain language that makes it unique, and if you change it, it's not gonna bring you any better results. So it's more about the awareness that you have of your own brand, and the value that it has to the customer, the impact that it has on the customer, and but then I wouldn't put a number on iterations that you can change on things. That's the things of A/B testing. Once you have tested I would put it as a schedule, a chronogram inside of your daily task. So today I tested, or this week I tested subject line, but the next week I'm gonna select which one is the best subject line, but I'm gonna test the header and the pre-header. Then the next week I'm gonna select the best one from them, and I'm gonna start with the content, and then I'm gonna select the best content. I'm gonna start with pictures. I'm gonna start with placement, and so on. So you can run it, and I'm pretty sure after some time people will get bored of it. So you can just come back to what you were doing before. So A/B testing never stops. I think if you really have time and you can spend time to prepare as much as you can, I would keep it as a machine. Always working, always testing something new until something is completely perfect. That's to your assessment. I cannot tell you when something is going to be perfect, but if you see like it cannot get better than this, then you can just leave it. But it will be always to your assessment, I believe. Thank you, Baidan. And thank you for your questions too. Let's go with some ideas on 12 AV tests to start with. In campaigns, the classic emoji versus none, scarcity versus exclusivity. Right now you can start talking about this. We are running out of these items, so start, registering. Exclusivity, start, getting into the VIP list for Black Friday, for the pre-ordering, for all of this, you can already start with it. The CTA button wording, that one I think is something you can really start with, not to make your emails look generic anymore, to make them look a little bit more you, which I said before, to put some identity into them. The sending time, something that I think also should be tested for most people that are probably haven't done ever changed into their scheduling, or people are just sending at any time, whenever you have the time. Of course, not telling you, hey, just at this time you must send it, but you have the ability to schedule it. So you say, so tomorrow at this time it will come out. I'm gonna see if it performs better than just sending it at a random time of the day. Then founder story intro, if you want to start with your value and start bringing some extra value that you probably haven't given them from the email marketing channel yet. The customer or user generated content intro, a surprise use case intro, some fun stories, something that you can, bring the customer outside of the I'm gonna purchase world and tell them like, oh, this is interesting. I didn't think I was gonna read this when I opened this campaign. Relatable struggle, relate to your customer, relate to your audience, relate to them as much as you can. Forms and pop-ups, teaser, don't forget, you always use the teaser. And the discount versus the freebie, check which is your region, check where you can offer what, and see if this is something that you can actually experiment with. Pop-up versus flyout, change the styles, the design, the positioning of your form. Of course, as I said before, one at a time, don't change everything unless, well, I mean, if you want to do it, but it's not going to give you as solid answers as changing a tiny thing at the time. Funny tone versus serious tone, see if you want to keep, things serious and formal, or if you want to start relating with the customer, which is something that many brands are doing nowadays. So I think it's something that you can start experimenting without feeling too hesitant about. Many people are doing it, so if you do it, you're gonna also be one of them, and you're probably gonna get some good results for that. Emotional versus discount teaser, some founder mini story teaser, customer testimonial pop-up. So it doesn't necessarily need to be a registration pop-up. You can just put a pop-up there, redirecting them to some other website where they are gonna be listening, something about some customer that had a good experience, some review, something like that. Gamified hook with surprise. We can try the Wheel of Fortune. Don't forget that this is a pop-up form that we also have in Omnisend. And even if you're hesitant to use it, I guarantee you it can bring you very, very good results. And automations, welcome flow, discount versus brand story, image versus urgency, upsell versus loyalty. This is again doing with segmentation and conditionals inside of the automation. Discount versus emotional. In the win back, yes, if you want to just offer them something to come back and purchase, or if you want to be more like, hey, we really miss you, we think that you may be missing on this and this and that, and there's a lot of value that you can provide to them, try that approach too. Founder versus surprise, user-generated content versus a struggle, thanks versus a surprise. Yes, so are you already thinking of the customer's next purchase once they have done one, or are you gonna leave it there? Yes, that's what has to be in your mind here. Are we gonna tease them to purchase once again? We have the opportunity. They are hot. They know who we are. They have heard of us right now, and they may purchase again. Why not try it? And then struggle story versus reminder. Many ideas. Don't worry if I'm going too fast over them. You're going to receive the slides and you can just come back to them at any time. And I'm pretty sure that you have thought of many more interesting things as I'm talking about this. So don't worry too much about it. And segmentation, of course, engaged versus unengaged. This is just to prove yourself that sending to the engaged customer is always going to be the best idea. Locations, new versus returning customers, gender-based tests. Maybe you haven't done that before. If you are collecting that information, if you have collected any specific data from your customers, use it for something and try to A/B test with it. And yes, this is just a final reminder of what we can start doing now. Choose an area. I recommend you to choose one campaign, one automation, one form, not just to focus on a single channel here. Pick a clear variable and stick to one at a time. We can do one a week, one a day. Segment also is good that you're A/B testing, but it's also good to know who you're A/B testing with. Let it run as long as necessary. If you want to test how many times we have to send in a week, you're not going to do that test in one day. So you have to do it for a couple of weeks, for a month even. And that's why we also want to be a little bit earlier before the high season comes here. Measure and check always your report. Try to stay on top of it all the time, because if you're just A/B testing and not really paying attention to the reports all the time before you make a decision, then it's probably just a waste. And I think that's it. We can go to the Q&A now.
Thank you so much, Matthias. There's so much information there. And like you already touched on it with the previous slide about like what to do now. But I'm just thinking from the perspective, if I am a business founder, I have so many things to do. Only 2 months to go until Black Friday, stock management, other things happening. And now like there's so many things to test. What would be your approach to just like you already kind of mentioned like being strategic about it, but keeping in mind there's so much to test, there's so much to do. What would you recommend for someone who feels really overwhelmed and doesn't know where to prioritize and which tests to prioritize as well?
I think the first thing that you can start testing, if you're out of time, one easy test that you can always do is the delays in the automations, the timing of your automations. Maybe it's the thing that you overlook the most, but it could be really relevant. And one thing that I would focus as a business owner in myself is review the reports. Checking my reports, I am pretty sure you're gonna realize the things that are working very well or not working and identify them quite quickly. We have reports, separate reports for each of them for campaigns, automations, and forms. So if your submission rate in the form is not working, maybe, I'm gonna just, instead of making them wait 20 seconds until the pop-up comes out, maybe I'm gonna put 6 seconds, yes. So again, it's always gonna be a date, and that's why I think if you don't have time, you really cannot just go to the reports, don't go automation per automation, go to reports, see what catches your attention the most, focus on the worst of the worst, see what automation is performing terribly compared to the other ones, see which campaign didn't work at all, see which form is really terrible also, or well, in this case, not terrible, not good. Yeah, it's not excellent like the others. But and there focus your attention. There focus on this is something that I'm doing wrong. So I'm gonna fix those things first. Yes. Then I'm pretty sure you're gonna start understanding and you're gonna direct yourself into, okay, this bring me some results. Maybe I'm gonna know exactly what to do the next time, and you're gonna already navigate yourself into the next priority. So when a problem is solved, then you can identify the next problem in the report itself, see what is actually have improved, what didn't improve. Maybe the click rate went up, but the open rate was a little bit lower. So maybe yes, it helped, but something was affected by it. So I think that's the beauty of A/B testing in a way. Once you A/B test something, you may get results in another place too. You may get extra, the butterfly effect over there and get some extra repercussions on your actions. So I believe you can lead yourself starting from what's not working to what's actually performing super well, and we want to iterate on it if you don't have time. If you have time, I could tell you to take a little bit of a more balanced approach. Take what's working very, very well and see if it can be better, because there's always chance to improve. But also to take a look at the things that are not performing so well and spend more of the time to try to implement the things that are actually performing well into them too. Hope that helps there.
I really like this. I think the approach that you mentioned at the beginning, it's called lifting the floor instead of lifting the ceiling. So just looking, okay, this is not working. Where can I improve to get those better results there? And I also would add from my own experience as well, if you're feeling overwhelmed and keeping in mind that Black Friday is coming up, I would focus on your welcome flows and abandon flows as well. So if you get some of the A/B testing happening there, then you'll be ready for Black Friday when people start, adding lots of stuff to carts because they're advanced shopping before like actually purchasing. So if you figure out and optimize your abandoned cart, abandoned checkout flows now, like you'll be ready for Black Friday.
Yeah, that's one great thing I think I forgot to mention too, and thanks, Vi, for that. So check. I think that will also appear in your reports. Which is your automation that is sending out the most? Where are you gonna get the most input from? So those are also places to look at and be like, I'm not gonna test anything in an automation that is sending 10 times in a month, because I'm gonna spend too long waiting for a result. But if one is sending 100 times per hour, then it probably is good to start there, see what results come there, and just that replicate and just bring everything to the other automations as well. Very good point, by.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Matthias. There are no more questions in the Q&A box. The chat is clear. So we're going to wrap this up. Again, everyone will receive the recording in a couple of days. You'll get the slides as well. So you can take your time, go through things. And then if you have any questions or you need help setting things up, then we have our customer support available 24/7. You can absolutely contact them, ask for help, and we'll be happy to do it. So, everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. Matthias, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and time.
Thank you all, and thank you, Bai. It's always I'm always happy to come here and share some expertise and some advice to you. And as Bai said, always rely on the customer support, ask them questions, interact with them, and whenever you run with some very, very complicated question, leave it there, and I'm telling you, hey, escalate it to the webinar people. Maybe we can prepare some webinar on that. Yes, we're always waiting for inspiration too. But thank you, everybody. Thank you, Bai. Thank you, Ira, Chaime, and all the people that are looking today.
Fantastic. Again, thank you everyone for joining us, and we will see you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.